What's up, guys? Mickle here, and we just got some breaking news that is going to have huge implications on the Ripple SEC case. We just got breaking news that Bill Hinman actually lied under oath during his deposition in this case. Guys, in this video, I want to show you exactly what he lied about because this is absolutely shocking, and this is going to affect this case going forward. I have already seen people talking about Bill Hinman and what he did, people who I never thought would be going against the SEC, coming out and calling for an investigation into the SEC and Bill Hinman. Guys, you are not going to believe who just called for an investigation. Make sure to stick around for the end of the video to see that. This is going to be absolutely insane for the entire industry. Like always, your support means so much to this channel. Make sure to take a quick second to like this video and subscribe to my channel. It's really going to help me out so much. Also, if you ever need a good place to buy some XRP or the Flare token, make sure to check out my favorite exchange uphold down in the description of this video. With that said though, let's jump right into it, and I hope you guys enjoy the content. So guys, before I start this video out, I just want to put out a quick announcement. Make sure if you are following me on Twitter, you are in fact following at XRP Mickle and the account is verified. There are a ton of people pretending to be me out there. Be ultra careful. Make sure you use common sense. I will never ask you to DM me on WhatsApp. I will never ask for any amount of money. So just double check whenever you see a communication from me. It's most likely not me, and I just need you guys to be super careful. And also look out for each other. If you see someone else interacting with a fake me, make sure to let them know. Guys, I try to keep up with all these bots. I simply can't anymore. They have taken over all my social media. So just be super careful out there and just make sure you double check. Hey, if I am talking to Mickle, is the account verified? Let me triple check that it is in fact him. So guys, I want to start this video out and give a shout out to Wolf of All Streets. And it's kind of funny because this is the last guy who needs a shout out from me. The dude has 900,000 followers. But the reason I'm giving him a shout out is because he used to really be a Bitcoin guy. He used to kind of be a Bitcoin maxi, but this is one of the few people I have seen who is actually taking a stand for crypto. This guy had John Deaton on a show the other day and then had Meta Law Man on earlier today, where they talked about how they needed to make sure John Deaton was getting the resources he needed to keep fighting for the cryptocurrency industry. What I'm really trying to say here is this is one of the few guys I have seen who used to be a Bitcoin only guy who is actually willing to fight for all of crypto, actually willing to do the right thing, and I just have to give him a huge shout out for that. I think he's doing an outstanding job for the entire industry, and I just wanted to say thank you to him. There are very few people like this who are actually in the position he is in and is going to be willing to go against his base, go against his followers to do what's right for crypto, and I just think that's a really admirable thing. So even though I am going to make zero difference in his follower count, I just wanted to give him a shout out because I think it's a really admirable thing, and I'm definitely behind everything he's doing. So now I want to talk about some pretty big things developing in the Ripple SEC case right now. But before I show you the specific lie that Bill Hinman got caught in his deposition, I want to show you a brand new clip of Stuart Alderoty talking about where this case is right now. Guys, Stuart Alderoty has slowly become one of my favorite members of Ripple. The way he talks about this ongoing litigation is absolutely fascinating. He is so good with his words. His arguments for why XRP is not a security and why the SEC is so out of line is so crystal clear. I think he is doing such a good service for the entire cryptocurrency industry. So listen up to this because I think you're going to be blown away with what he says here.
But I think if you look at the defenses and the narrative around what some of the actors who are now on the wrong side of the V with the SEC, they are reading from the Ripple playbook, and that is perfectly fine with us.
Well, on that topic, we must bring up the two recent lawsuits that we've been talking about for the last 2 weeks, the SEC versus Coinbase and Binance. You're expecting a result in your case, I think, by the end of September. How do you think that the result of the Ripple case or even the revelation of the Hinman documents might be of aid to Coinbase or Binance as they fight their own legal battle?
Look, I think transparency is an important thing. I think that it is really disheartening as a lawyer, as an American, that we have a regulatory agency that is fighting so hard to hide the truth and in using, again, deliberate creation of confusion and chaos as a weapon. They weaponize regulation by enforcement. So anything that can shine a bright light on the SEC's tactics here, I think is a very good thing. I think exposing that the SEC themselves identified a regulatory gap in the space that they themselves understood they probably didn't have the authority to fill is a really important revelation. People forget sometimes that these agencies only have the power that is granted to them by Congress, and they answer to Congress. They can't create law. They have to apply the law, and they have to apply the law faithfully, and the SEC has woefully failed to do that. So I think that will give other industry players that now find themselves in a courtroom with the SEC a leg up to start with. And obviously, the substantive application of the law is very, very important. And as we get clarity in the courts, I think the knock-on effects of that will prove to be beneficial to others who find themselves in this position.
So guys, I want to couple what you just heard from Stuart Alderati with a tweet he put out the other day. The tweet read, "It is more heroic to actively support justice for all and suffer the punishment than to strike a deal with a corrupt authority for the sake of personal comfort and gain." And I thought this was just such a telling quote when it comes to what Ripple is trying to get out of this case. Guys, I really do have a feeling that Ripple could have settled this case a while ago. I think they could have made the SEC go away and gotten clarity for XRP. But it seems like to me, Ripple is really looking to do something much bigger. Ripple wants to blaze a trail for this entire industry. They want to make it clear once and for all that the SEC does not have the authority to create new law. The SEC has to abide by the current law, and the current law makes it extremely clear that the asset itself, the token trading on the secondary market, is not the security. Lack of clarity around the token itself is really what the SEC is using to hold back this entire industry, and something deep down inside of me just really thinks, based on how this case has gone for the SEC likely offered Ripple the settlement they wanted to give XRP that clarity, but Ripple was just so confident with where they were sitting. Ripple was so confident they were not only going to get that clarity for XRP and other tokens too, they chose to take this thing to distance and do what was right for all of crypto, and that is all speculation on my part, but simply reading this tweet by Stuart Alderati, simply reading what Brad Garlinghouse and the rest of the Ripple team have been saying since day one, guys, it seems like this is a fight Ripple was ready for. This was a fight Ripple wanted to do for all of crypto, and for a long time I thought that was just them talking, that was just them saying things, but the more I have seen this case play out, and the more I have seen them take a consistent stance to this issue, it looks like to me this is really what they set out to do, and a huge congratulations to Ripple for that. Now, I want to move on and talk about what Bill Hinman got caught in during his deposition, because guys, this right here is causing people who are traditionally big SEC shills to completely change their mind on the agency. So this was tweeted out by John Deaton last night and is another example of a bombshell from these emails. I have no idea how anyone could have looked through these emails and thought they were a nothing burger. The amount we learn from these things is absolutely incredible. Take a look at this though, because this might be one of the most damning things yet. Bill Hinman specifically said in his deposition that he had not met with anyone outside the SEC in the process of drafting the Ether speech. Guys, what we learned from Bill Hinman's emails is that he met with Vitalik Buterin a week before the speech was given to run it by him. Bill Hinman lied about this specific issue because he knew how bad the optics are. It was already perfectly obvious to everyone at the SEC that Bill Hinman stepped out of line when he changed the Howey test to the Hinman test. This was not allowed and completely illegal, but Bill Hinman did it so he could give clarity to Ethereum. What we learned though is that this was not just him throwing out an example of Ethereum. This was not just him saying, okay, here's a cryptocurrency you can look at and apply others to. This was him specifically writing the speech to give Ethereum clarity. That's why he called Vitalik Buterin right before the speech got given. And that's why when he was specifically asked if he had met with anyone outside the SEC before the speech, he lied and said no. Bill Hinman never thought that these documents would become public. Bill Hinman never thought that we would see his deposition, but what we have learned is that the XRP community has been right since day one. This case was never about protecting investors. This case was never about securities law. It was about slowing down XRP and giving Ethereum a monopoly on the market, and that is exactly what we are learning from these emails. And guys, these emails are not just bad to me. These emails are not just bad to John Deaton. I am seeing something that I never thought I would see, and that is former SEC officials who used to shield the SEC, used to take the SEC side on absolutely everything, now turning against them. Earlier today, John Reed Stark, if you don't know him, this dude is a lover boy for the SEC. Every single time I see him take an argument, it is for the SEC. I was on a Twitter space earlier today with him, and he specifically agreed that Bill Hinman should be investigated. Guys, the conflicts of interest here are so bad, the facts are so ugly, even the SEC's biggest supporters are now turning against them. As things have completely fallen apart for the SEC, this case is backfiring on them in ways I don't even think they thought possible, but just before you thought things couldn't get any worse for them, we have Brad Garlinghouse specifically confirming that Ripple is going to be doing more than just simply asking for an investigation. I don't think the SEC is going to get away with what they did. I don't think Bill Hinman's going to get away with what they did. Things are completely collapsing for the SEC. The XRP community has been right since day one, and we are not going to stop being right here. The SEC tried to stop us from mass adoption. They failed. We knew they would. But guys, it's time for the XRP community to start being right on mass adoption, and I have a feeling we will, just like we were right about this case. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for coming. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe. It really does mean so much. And for now, Mickle out.